the final piece of the off-season storyline puzzle getting fit in, with the exception of a couple of holdouts of some top defensive linemen. And imagine Joe Burrow, now that he's back on the playing field, between now and a week from Sunday when the Bengals open up the season against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, Joe Burrow will get signed to the richest contract in the history of National Football League play. But other than that, we had one last big piece land in the last 24 hours, and that's Jonathan Taylor not going anywhere. I mean, his storyline kind of lurked behind the scenes as we were seeing Miles Sanders leave Philadelphia for $6 million a year to Carolina, and then Austin Eckler being shown an opportunity to go get a trade by the Chargers, only for him to come back and stay and get a little bit of extra dollars put on his contract. And then the franchise tag players, Saquon Barkley, and also Josh Jacobs at the running back position. Kareem Hunt and Leonard Fournette still ATC. Dalvin Cook released in the middle of us waiting to see how everything would play out with the franchise tag running backs. Ezekiel Elliott signing with the Patriots. Behind all of that, Jonathan Taylor was lurking in Indianapolis, coming back from an injury-marred 2022 campaign. Word that his ankle still wasn't ready to roll. I was sitting here assuming it was ready to roll. He just didn't want to roll until he got more bankroll from Indianapolis. And now the final piece of the puzzle. He, like Austin Eckler, was shown an opportunity to find a trade partner. Eckler came back, and the Chargers gave him extra cash. Taylor is told, you got to come back because we didn't find anything remotely close to what we would accept for you. And he comes back, and they put him on the physically unable to perform list, meaning he can't play until week 5. Now, we had Tom Pelissero on yesterday saying, okay, they might still trade him. It's not as if it's a collective bargained deadline that passed on Tuesday. It was what the Colts set as a deadline. So phone lines can still ring. Opportunities can still be made for Jonathan Taylor. And in Indianapolis as well. The question is how can things get put back together? And sure enough, Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Indianapolis Colts, who has not made a public appearance throughout this entire process. I guess the most you've seen of Chris Ballard really on television is right here on the Roku channel in the documentary, The NFL Draft, The Pick Is In, because the NFL Films cameras were embedded in the Indianapolis Colts draft room in late April. So Chris Ballard was asked yesterday, and this guy is just, he's one of the unique ones, man. He just tells you what's on his mind. It's the filter between head and mouth sometimes can catch a word or two, but not much. He just will let you know what's on his mind and what's in his heart. And this is what he had to say about the relationship with Jonathan Taylor now and moving forward.
Jonathan is a well-respected and a really good human being and a damn good football player. I think we all know this. All right? Things like this happen. I tell every rookie that comes in, there's going to be a point when we disagree, and it's usually about money. And it's going to be hard. And just know that doesn't change my care level for you. I care deeply for Jonathan Taylor. I have great respect for Jonathan Taylor. Our relationship, I would tell you, is, look, even when it gets hard, I won't quit on the relationship. I won't do it. I think too much of the young man. I think too much of what he's given our organization and how hard he's played for us. And what sucks, I mean, the situation, I'm not going to sit here and give you some rosy picture like, oh, this is just, everything's okay. No, it sucks. It sucks for the Colts. It sucks for Jonathan Taylor. And it sucks for our fans. It does. And it's where we're at, and we've got to work through it. And we're going to do everything we can to work through it. Relationships are repairable. They're repairable. Like, I don't, when guys get emotional and take a stance, you got to have some, you got to be able to work through those.
Well, he's not wrong. Relationships are repairable. You know how they're repairable? Money. That's about it. Honestly, that's let's just call it.
The answer to all of your problems.
And it's tough. It's tough when you've clearly got an owner that doesn't want to pay him right now. Maybe Chris Ballard feels the same right now. Certainly, if he's not healthy, you're not going to bestow a contract that is 12, 13 million per if the guy's not answering the bell for a season. We have no idea how the ankle's responding and things of that nature. And you know why feelings are hard for Jonathan Taylor? Just as for instance, during that soundbite, Diana Rossini, our friend and colleague now of The Athletic, reporting T.J. Hawkinson just got a 4-year deal worth $66 million. He's a tight end.
Cha-ching.
How many 4-year, $66 million contracts at, wait a minute, I don't want to short it, can be worth $68.5 million? How many of those are belong to running backs? Okay. So that's why things can get particularly emotional for running backs these days. Asked about whether he was allowed to seek a trade. Can you confirm? Which was an interesting question since we've been talking about this trade possibility for days, and folks have been reporting on this for days that, teams were interested and terms were exchanged. Like, I want Jalen Waddle for him.
Me too.
I want Jalen Waddle. Here's what I want. I want Jalen Waddle and all your money for a player that our owner said, league won't miss him if he's gone tomorrow.
I want Jalen Waddle. I want Ace Ventura.
What a stance.
I want Dan Marino's isotoners.
That's right. I want Ray Finkel's ring.
Yeah.
And Einhorn. Don't forget.
Right. We cannot forget Einhorn. Thank you for that, TJ.
Well done, TJ.
Asked about the trade and why is he on the physically unable to perform list. This is the answer from Chris Ballard.
Did we give him permission to seek a trade? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. I'm not going to get into the details of teams, what was offered and what wasn't offered. But what I'm going to tell you is Jonathan is valuable. And at the end of the day, we're not, I'm not just going to let him walk out the building. I'm not going to do that. That's not the best thing for the Colts and the organization. All right? As for the decision to put him on PUP, it's when you're still having effects from last year's surgery and still having pain and not 100%, we're not going to put a player on the field that's still complaining of pain in the ankle. I'm not going to do that, an injury. I wouldn't do that to any player. Wouldn't treat anybody any differently. So what Jonathan will do is he will rehab his butt off and try to get himself ready to go.
Man, I just want to know, he's complaining of pain in his ankle. Is that again him saying, yeah, my ankle hurts, I can't practice right now, because he's trying to be physically unable to perform or physically unwilling to perform? And the Colt, well, we'll take you at your word. I haven't received much confirmation as to what, is this a game or is this legit? And if it's legit, then of course he's not going to get a market valued contract elsewhere, and the Colts are not going to get anything returned that they wanted unless they were really just asking for wildly outlandish fantasy football type requests that would be sent by a 12-year-old to another 12-year-old. What about the idea of Anthony Richardson needing this kid? That question was asked of Chris Ballard, point blank.
Do you think that stunts Anthony's growth or hinders his early development, not have Jonathan next to him?
Well, look, when you don't have a great player, I mean, but I don't think it stunts his growth. No, not at all. But it doesn't, I mean, I don't know. Did it stunt Andrew's growth without a special back?
Andrew being Luck. Look, it didn't stunt Luck's growth, but it sure appeared to stunt his longevity.
Boom.
Offensive line didn't help. I mean, he got killed.
It's a team game. It's a team game.
Yeah.
Right? It's a team game. And that's also a team game in the front office. If Jim Irsay's saying, we're not paying. Last year sucked, to use the phrase of the day apparently in Indianapolis. We're not paying anyone off of that, even though last year sucked for many reasons created by Jim Irsay's sudden impetuousness at the position. And that impetuousness is definitely making the seat that Ballard was sitting in hot, I would imagine. And he's a good evaluator, I think. Because Anthony Richardson, I think, is going to play football in this league for a good long time. Week 5. Man, oh man, is this just going to linger? Not this week, I don't think. Unless, I'm sure leading up to the first Sunday games, one of the highly talented information men and women in our business will have the latest on Jonathan Taylor that just will pop out just when the television sets snap on Sunday mornings. I bet you there'll be something new on that. But then the games will get played. And then right around like week 2, week 3, when Indianapolis is either, who knows, after Jacksonville and at Houston and at Baltimore, let's just say they're 1-2 taking on the Rams. Where's Jonathan Taylor going to be? What's his readiness? What's going on? What happens in the first month of the season with anybody else at the position? Who might be more willing to part with their Jalen Waddles or not? Strikes me right now, Jonathan Taylor, unless there is a major need somewhere. And to me, again, if Ballard was asking apparently for the moon, what's going to happen if a team comes in desperate? Heaven forbid one of Green Bay's backs go down. One of Miami's backs go down. What do you think he's going to ask for then? What, the price will be less? Strikes me that Jonathan Taylor is going to have to figure out how to get that ankle settled to play for the Indianapolis Colts and then figure out what happens if he gets franchise tagged next year, just like Josh Jacobs did. Let's not forget. Okay? That he's a second-year player. So there is no fifth-year option like Jacobs had on him that the Raiders didn't use, leading to this whole thing. So, strikes me that Jonathan Taylor is going to play for the Indianapolis Colts this year. And he needs to, I guess, swallow that. Because the problem is he's going to have to repair it himself in his own mind, because it doesn't appear that money is coming as the reparation. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.